be okay losing the fast and the cheap clients to get the more sustainable clients that are going to grow your business.
And I would argue that fast and cheap clients were never your clients to begin with.
Welcome to Duo on Air, where we help you get seen, remembered, and wildly obsessed over by your audience. We're your hosts, Abby
and Courtney, a pair of ex-agency besties who ditched the cubicles, the Minneapolis Skyways, and the corporate jargon for work that matters with people who inspire us every day. Today, we're a women-powered marketing agency serving brands worldwide, bringing those big agency results without the corporate price tag.
Around here, it's all about what actually grows your business: branding, SEO, websites, and navigating the real-life ups and downs of building a dream while raising tiny humans. We're moms, wives, and best friend business partners in the trenches with you, making the hard stuff feel easy and a whole lot more fun.
So pour a fresh cup, get comfy, because you're exactly where you need to be.
Let's duo this.
Welcome back to the Duo on Air podcast. This is episode number 207. And this is something that we kind of say a lot on inquiry calls, I would say, the topic that we're going to be speaking about today. And it's kind of about being not the cheapest or the fastest to work with. And again, like I said, this is something we see on inquiry calls. So we're going to dive into it. But if you feel the pressure, especially this year, 2026, to be fast, cheap, convenient in order to compete in your industry, this episode is for you. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Why you shouldn't be the fastest, why you shouldn't be the cheapest, why you shouldn't be the most convenient, even when times are stressful or you're strapped or you feel like you need to be bringing in more money. And we're going to talk about why.
Yeah, you're probably, and the pressure comes from probably losing clients to other people who are cheaper,
which sucks,
faster, and maybe more convenient. And yeah, it sucks when that happens. Like, it makes you question all your packages, and it makes you question your pricing, and it makes you just kind of rethink everything of like, what do I do?
And we've been there. Like we've been there in the past. We've been there at this exact moment. And that is why on inquiry calls, sometimes we flat out say that when we're taking somebody through our packages, sometimes they might be in shock with how much things might cost when they work with us. And again, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but we always do preface, like, we aren't the fastest, we aren't the cheapest, and here's why, X, Y, and Z, which again, we'll talk about later.
And yeah, it can be flipped to be a benefit, and it is.
Yes.
So I'd say that we wanted to bring this topic to you right now because 2026 is it's already feeling stressful, and we just started. And I think a lot of people are feeling the stress to be fast and cheap because budgets are tighter. People are holding their money closer to them. And it's kind of happening because there's rising costs. Like, every platform we pay for, like different softwares we use, are sending out emails left and right about increased costs and annual fees and structures. And that is making people kind of freak out because their expenses are going up. Their budgets are getting tighter. People are shopping a little bit harder if they need something. And so if you have never felt like someone who's really good at sales, it can feel really stressful.
AKA me.
You are good. We just balance each other out.
I'm just not as good as Abby.
We balance each other out. But it is like a hard thing. And if you feel the pressure to nail an inquiry call or a discovery call, sometimes that can maybe come off a little too salesy, and all of a sudden you're losing things more often than not. So I would say, and then in addition to that, like, AI now is making people like just completely cut out services and costs to use AI instead, because AI is faster and cheaper and not always better.
No, definitely not always better.
And I think like there will be a turning point where people realize that. But right now, people are thinking, okay, I'm just going to use AI to help me write blogs. I'm not going to lean into a blog writer anymore. Or I'm going to use AI to edit all my podcasts, and I don't need a podcast management platform anymore. Or, you know, I'm going to use AI to build my brand and then later regret it.
Yeah. And that's where like cutting these corners and potential costs could actually cost you, right? Could actually cost you in your business, in your brand, what you sell, what you offer, and all of those things. So sometimes taking those shortcuts or not investing in certain things will end up actually costing you more, which doesn't seem like that in the moment because you are kind of making decisions based on stress and fear and trying to protect your pockets and all of that too. So a lot of that leads to this pressure to feeling that you need to discount things in order to stay competitive. You can ask Abby anytime we're slow. I'm like, let's slash our prices, let's do a discount, let's do a sale, and she's like, God, Courtney, no. And I'm like, okay, that's just me speaking from fear, because I know that we're worth it. That's the thing. Like, it crushes me to even say those words, and it would actually pain us if we did that, because we know that every bit of energy and work that we put into our packages is worth it. And we are classic over deliverers, so we know that no matter what, even if we did slash our prices, we're going to still over deliver. So in the end, that's not helping us at all.
Yeah, there are people out there too, and it can just be that you have outgrown the audience that you are currently serving.
Yes.
And you need to find the bigger budgets because of the bigger price points. Or you're focusing too much, which we'll talk about this a little bit, but you're focusing too much on the here's what I do, not here's the effects of what I do, and how it will change your business. So
yeah,
we'll talk about that. But being fast isn't a benefit. I think a
lot of people think it's a benefit. I think a lot of companies out there do think that, like, hey, I can get you this in a week, or I can get you this in a day.
Yeah.
And
website in a day is like, that kind of stuff they're huge offers, and they're things that people love. And I'm not saying they're bad for certain moments. I think they can be great to like help kickstart things, but not always. So I'd say if we are ever asked to be faster, there is another side to that is what's getting cut. If we are going to move faster, here's the things that's getting cut. We have to cut research, meaning it's not going to be as strategic. We're skipping that strategy moment to actually do the research to understand what's going to help make your website better, your brand better, your SEO better. There's no depth in what we're doing because we're just trying to get the work done quickly versus actually thinking about the best way to do it.
We're doing very surface level.
Yes. And I can't tell you how many times we have projects where we kick it off one way, but we discover a better solution. And that's because we really spend time being able to like sit, think with it, research, see what else is out there, see what actually makes sense for the long run, rather than just putting a Band-Aid on a solution right now. And so when you rush that delivery, you really lose the strategy. You're just getting executional work, which if you're just delivering executional work, then you're losing that like elevated package, or you're like the uniqueness that you deliver. Like, it's just kind of bringing things down to like a Fiverr level, you know, like we just execute.
Talk about Fiverr.
And then ultimately all of that leads to you burning out because you can't sustain that. Like, it's just not realistic to sustain it.
Yeah.
So we always talk about like being the cheapest is almost never going to be the most profitable path. And if you're thinking about, okay, how do I just hit this month's revenue goal, then you're not ever growing sustainably. You're never going to get out of this month-to-month roller coaster. You have to be okay losing the fast and the cheap clients to get the more sustainable clients that are going to grow your business.
And I would argue that like those fast and cheap clients were never your clients to begin with. You're chasing clients that you really shouldn't be chasing, because there's somebody else out there that's going to be the right person and the right fit for them. The ones that do fast, quick work, that's always going to be a thing. There's always going to be a Fiverr out in the world. There's always going to be SEO strategists out in the world that say they can do something for you super quick, when Abby would argue that it's more of a long game. So they are going to find somebody, and they aren't your person, right? You want those bigger, more strategic, more sustainable growth clients that you should be serving versus these quick in and out, just so you can, get a paycheck that month or whatever that might look like. Like, that's only putting a Band-Aid on a solution that needs a lot more fixing.
So let's use our website package kind of as an example, because our website projects, they're not structured for speed and they're not structured for cheapest cost. But we're unapologetic about that. Like, we say that, like Court said, on inquiry calls, on discovery calls, we talk about how we are not the cheapest and the fastest. We are not going to build you a 5-page website. We know that this is better for you. And we're likely not going to be the people that, if you're brand new in your business, we're probably not that person for you, because you might need just a single page website. That's what we needed at the beginning, and that's what we built.
And there was no way we could afford at the beginning somebody like us that offers services like us. If we would have talked to somebody, we would have been like, oh, like, this is great. You offer really awesome packages, but we are not there yet.
Yeah. And so that's okay. Like, we know that we're not going to be right for that person. We might be right from a branding perspective. Like, we can build you a brand, but then, like, you might need to take that and, build. And we have smaller packages too, where we do like add to a template and things like that, just to help get things off the ground. But when we're talking about building you a website, we don't cut corners. So our project timelines average, I would say, around 4 months.
And that's maybe even short.
It is.
I would say 4 to 6, but
it can go longer depending on how many, like, if there's email marketing add-ons, or if there's, like, deeper content that's being built within the brand.
But even 4 months for the amount of work that we do for our websites is pretty freaking fast. Yeah, I would say, given everything that our clients get within that process.
Yeah. So we require branding. You can't just get a website. We're not just going to pick up at a template. We require you to do branding, at least the visuals at the very minimum, because your brand is so much more than a logo, and you need a deeper color palette. You need font variety.
You need a color palette that is accessible. You need fonts that are legible. And just all of the other things like patterns, icons, illustrations, how we can bring movement into your website, photography, video, all of that builds an experience online that is going to capture your ideal audience. If you think about just how you navigate the internet and you land on a website and it doesn't leave any sort of impact on you emotionally, you're going to forget about that website. You're going to forget about that brand. But if you land on a website and they pull you in with their story, with their visuals, with the movement, whether it's energetic or soft and subtle, they're going to keep you on that website, and you're going to keep exploring because of the brand and obviously the storytelling and the SEO that brought you there. But your website is like your storefront, essentially, your online storefront. And when you're shopping in person, like, you like to be in a fun environment. Like Target, like, we all get lost in Target, right? Like, sure, it's corporate, but they suck us in. Bullseye's area, like, always sucks you in. The new home decor for every season that they have kind of sucks you in, because it's a fun place to explore and shop and navigate. And that's what your website needs to do for you. And without a strong brand, you're going to lose that.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I go to a coffee shop or a restaurant because of the vibe. Like,
oh yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like, your website is your own digital vibe. Like, what kind of vibe do you want to give off? And you want people to feel that instantly.
Yes.
And so you only have a couple seconds to do it before they go somewhere else.
So we wouldn't be doing you a justice building you a website if we didn't have a strong brand visually to use.
Yeah. It is very rare that we take someone else's brand. Occasionally, yes, we will. If, like, you just found us and you worked with a really well known, I guess not even well known, but just like you've worked with a designer who actually had strategy behind it.
If we approve your brand, you got it done by somebody else because you didn't know us. And we approve it visually, and you have enough visual pieces to build into a website, then, if it's brand approved by me, then I'll be like, okay.
But there's so much strategy that people don't think about. Like, your fonts need to have WebSafe licensed. Again, like, accessibility matters. If you don't have enough contrast between your colors, it's not going to pass accessibility guidelines. If you don't have just a variety of content to actually differentiate your brand on your webpage, it's not going to work. So we require branding. That has to be a part of the process. We also require SEO. Because frankly, what's the point of a website if no one can find it?
It could be beautiful all day long, but if nobody can find it, then it's
and
pointless.
our big, like, we help people be memorable and get seen. And you cannot do that without branding and SEO. So those are the two things that have to be a part of a website, and we will never do a website without it.
Correct.
Like, just, it's a standard. Like, it's a,
And that's where like we might lose people, and that's okay, because then I mean we were
because
just
people want
not-
a website in a day and you can go get that offering somewhere else.
exactly.
So we also do more than 5 pages because that's what we believe you need to grow and have visibility. Everyone has home, about, contact, a service, like a sales page maybe. Every single person has that. What else do you need to have a website that converts? Because likely you're going to need certain pages for SEO. You are going to need certain pages to help people find you. And you're also going to need certain pages just to like articulate your experience, how you're different, how you want people to engage with you. And you need pages for conversion. So we always include 8 custom pages, but also include those extra freebies. So things like your legal page, you need an email newsletter opt-in, you need an Instagram links page, and none of those are going to count against you for those 8
404
pages.
page.
404.
404 pages are oddly, like you never really want somebody to land there, but they're oddly kind of fun pages to work on.
They are super fun pages. And these are all pages that you need to have a functioning website. And so we're not going to compromise the scope of we don't want the scope of the project to dictate the pages you choose.
Correct.
Like we want you to know that you are getting a big strategic website.
And you might need unique pages. You should need unique pages for the offering or product that you sell, because that's what makes you different. And those are the untapped SEO opportunities that are so fun to dive into when we build out these large websites.
And then it also takes this amount of time because we include every single member of our team. Like
Just special
8
people.
Is it 8? Or is it 7?
No, I think it's 8.
Oh, wow.
We have a copywriter now. So it's you, me, Heidi, Dana, Jamie, Laura, Lauren, Eden.
Wow, 8 people. 8 people. And everyone has their
We're
own
almost in the
specialty.
double digits.
I know. So we have specialties in SEO, web design, and design, in copywriting. Like, all of that matters, and we need their specialties to be a part of the project. We're not going to make one person be a jack of all trades. Like, let's really have them bring their own strategic focus to it, and then we all work together to make that collaboration come to life. And then we also include analytics and conversions and follow-up meetings where we meet 4 months post-launch to actually talk about how your website performs. It's not, here's your website, bye, have fun. Like, it's,
Good luck.
Here's your website, here's everything we built, and here's how it converts. And so we've lost clients because of this, because clients want something faster and cheaper and smaller, which is A-okay. And we have, like, on our website, our main headline for our website service page is, we develop big websites that actually convert. And that's important. Like, we want people to understand that. And if that's not what you're looking for, then we're not the people for you, and we're not going to slash our price just to serve you at the end of the day.
And it's okay if we lose those clients because of what Abby just said. But it's also nice that they know that that's what we offer, because maybe they're not there in their business yet, but they really loved, what we had to say. They like our vibe, our energy. They want to work with us. We've had a lot of people say, like, dang, I can't afford this right now, or this isn't quite what I need right now, but when I get there, I'll come back to you. And we've had people come back to us.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not, sometimes I think people like maybe get like upset, like, I lost that client, or shoot, they weren't for me, or whatever. But that doesn't mean that in 3 years they're not going to come back, because like they might come back because they might need you. They've grown too.
Yeah.
So it's not always a loss either when you're having these inquiry calls and you're not maybe the right fit.
And when you have these bigger packages too, and these bigger clients, you're going to lose more, but the one that you gain is going to be 3 of the fast clients. And it's going to be work that you're really proud of.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think that's also something, is like, we've got to get comfortable with losing clients. And that's okay.
And that's hard. It's a hard thing to do.
I know it is. So a few questions to ask yourself if you're feeling like you are constantly wondering, do I need to slash prices? Do I need to change my packages? Do I need to be faster? Do I need to be cheaper? What do I need to do? So a few questions to ask. One, are you building something for the long run, or are you just delivering something for the moment you're in right now? And this is where it comes to, are you building a sustainable package that isn't going to burn you out, that is going to be profitable for your business? Or are you just freaking out because inquiries are low and sales are low and revenue is low and you need to do something right now?
The next one, are your packages based on what you think they should be or your clients? This is so key, you guys. I think in the past, when Abby and I were growing Duo, we thought of this the wrong way, right? Sometimes we would build things based on like what we think our clients might need.
They would come to us and say, this is what I want.
Yes.
And we'd say, okay.
And we would do it. We would make these custom proposals or these custom projects or whatever that might be. And then, we slowly got into this phase of feeling burnt out. Like, gosh, this isn't what we should be doing, or like, this doesn't bring us passion, or we could be building something so much bigger and so much more strategic and valuable for our audience and our clients. And so we kind of had to shift that, right? Like, what is it that we need to build for our packages for our business that is going to help us and our business grow? So making sure that you're building those packages based on what you need.
And remembering that you're the expert.
You are.
Your clients don't often know what they need.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many people come to us for a website and they know nothing about UX and the importance of navigation.
A lot of people don't.
No.
Yeah.
And they would never ask for that. But we know the importance of building a navigation that can grow with your business for 10 plus years.
Yes.
Versus building a website that's going to work for you for a year. And then you're going to need to think about, oh, how do I add these pages, or how do I add this avenue of my business? And you need, that's what they pay you for. They're paying you for that strategy and that oversight because you are the one in the industry. So I think remembering that you can dictate what's included in the packages because you know it's important. They don't get to just be like, oh,
no, I need
cut
X, Y, and
this.
Z, or or cut this. I don't need that.
Can you do less competitive research, or can you do less keyword research? And I'm always like, no, it is what it is. This is what we need to do to deliver a product that we are going to be proud of and that you are going to love, and a product that's going to convert. And you just have to hold true to that.
Yes, absolutely.
It's hard.
The next question, are you pricing for survival or sustainability? So again, we've talked about this a little bit throughout the episode already, but making sure that you're pricing for sustainability so your business can grow with you year after year versus just grow with you week after week. That's just not sustainable. You're going to burn yourself out. You're going to get yourself caught in scenarios where you probably now have too many clients because you're doing all sorts of different deals, or you're taking on new projects that aren't even packages that you offer because you're just taking anything and everything. You need to make sure that you're pricing your packages based on what you need for your business to grow, and knowing that everything that's in your package, even if it is a little bit more expensive, needs to stay that way because you, again, like Abby said, are the expert here. You are the one bringing them exactly what they need. You're not cutting things out of it. You're not adding things onto it for free. You need to stick to that and make sure, again, that your prices are sustainable for your growth in your business and not just survival mode.
Yeah. And then who are you attracting? Are you attracting those people who want urgency, or are you attracting people who actually value the depth and the expertise that you bring?
Because I guarantee you, if they value urgency, they do not value depth.
No, they just want done. And that's where we have to understand we're not the right people for them.
Yes.
And it can still be really hard because the brand or the business can be so cool. But at the end of the day, if they don't value who you are, it's likely not going to be a product that you're even going to enjoy working on, even if it is really fun.
Yeah, I agree.
So that can be really hard. And if you've kind of fallen into this trap, then it's time to position shift how you are communicating. So I think a really cool thing to do might be to look at the content that you're creating, how are you marketing yourself? So maybe gather the last few email newsletters you've sent, the last social posts that you've put out there, the last, LinkedIn posts, wherever you're kind of marketing. Just gather some of that content and maybe screenshot it, share it with ChatGPT and say, hey, do you think that I am attracting a buyer who is going to value the expertise that my business brings? Or am I attracting someone who's just looking for a service that anyone can provide? And see what it says. Like, I think a lot of times we don't even realize that the way we market ourselves is positioned towards this is what I do, like a very straightforward, I do SEO, I do branding, I do websites.
Very tactical.
Yes. Versus this is the strategic thing that I do, and this is the impact it's going to bring to your business. And so it can be really easy to market the first way, but it's kind of difficult to market the second way. So you have to like change your thinking.
You're telling a bigger story, and it's a little fluffier, but it's also more emotional, right? It's going to have a stronger impact on them because they are reading that as a human and they're like emotionally like, oh my gosh, yes, that's exactly what I need. Yeah. These are the tools that will get me there. But this, at the end of that, this is the story I need. This is the dream I have. This is the goal I need fulfilled. Yeah. And those tactical things is what backs it up, is what gets me there. Yeah. So it is so easy to say the tactical things like, yeah, easy peasy. I make logos, I make colors, I make fonts, I make beautiful brands, but like why or how? And like, what does that get you at the end of this project? How does that make you feel at the end of this project?
Because at the end of the day, anyone can do that. Anyone can create a logo. Anyone can create a brand.
AI can do it.
Yeah.
Can it do
anyone
it good?
can do it. And it's not meant to be like a diss to you. It's just meant to be, you need to think deeper.
Yeah.
What do I do that no one else can do? And that's going to be more important than anything else. So if you are taking anything away from this episode, here's a few things to think about. One, if you're underpricing, you should audit your offerings first. Look at how much you are spending on these projects. What's the process? Do you have the process written out? How long does it take? Try to break things down. I don't love to do this because I don't love to position everything for service providers as an hourly rate, because so much of the value of what you do is the strategy and the knowledge and like what lives in your brain, and you can't
put
chunk that down hourly. But this can be the easiest way to do it if you're like just curious what your pricing is. So backing into some kind of hourly rate of, okay, here's the project, here's how long it takes me, here's what I would make hourly on average, and how does that feel? Because sometimes that's like a huge sign of like, wow, I am really busting my butt for nothing.
Really undercharged. Yeah.
Yes.
Like I have more value.
Yes. And then if you, again, are feeling that way, it's not that you need to make this massive jump, but every time you book a certain number of projects, so like once you've booked 2 websites, increase your price. And then when you book another 2, increase it a little bit more.
And it doesn't have to be drastic increases. It could be almost like nobody would even notice.
A couple $100s,
Yes.
like something really small. So think about that and slowly increasing your prices and eventually getting to a spot where you feel really comfortable with. And then clarify this process. Like you should market what you do. I think we so often don't talk about what we do.
Yeah. I mean, we're probably even at fault for that. We don't talk enough about what we do, what the process is, how much goes into it.
Yeah.
Because it can seem overwhelming because we do a lot, right? We do a lot just as Abby and I, but our team members do a lot too. We do a lot collectively, individually. And it can seem so overwhelming, but that's okay because you don't have to tell all of it all at once. That's the beauty of marketing, is you could have one carousel post that literally talks about the first part of the website process that we do, or just our kickoff phase, or how we wrap it up, or what it looks like with that 3 to 4 month analytical check-in. Like we don't have to talk about the whole process all at once. It can be broken into bits and pieces through your marketing.
Yeah. And for example, maybe you do, or maybe you don't know that we have an SEO coaching program, but that we do have a program, and we have a membership that's ongoing, and I talk with other SEO providers and other web designers and other copywriters. And so much of our conversation is around packaging. And almost every single time someone's like, hey, can you look at my packages and let me know what you think? And usually they're always like, I know you're going to say I'm undercharging. I'm like, you bet I am. Like, I'm for sure going to say you're undercharging. Because again, we're not sitting here doing hourly work. Like, we're not trying to compete with the Fivers of the world and like the quick people who can just solve things. Like, I don't want to compete with the quick, like $5 an hour SEO specialist that you can get online. I want you to really articulate the value and the strategy that you bring within your own niche. So your pricing should reflect that too.
Yes, yes. Another thing, if you are rushing through your work, here are a few things that you can do. Building in timeline buffers. So this is where SOPs are so handy and come in so nicely, because you list out the entire process of starting point one all the way to the end. And if you see that there's holes in there where you're working too fast or you don't have enough time for, this part of that process or phase, build in some of those timeline buffers, because that is going to help you so much. Even if the timeline buffers, I'm not saying like a week or 2 weeks, like sometimes you just need an extra few days for something. Or, if you get to a review process and the reviews are going too quickly, or you're giving a client too much time to review, like what does that look like? And building in those buffers so you can actually work through that process, feel really good about it, and not feel like you're rushing through to get to the end quicker.
Yeah, and thinking about projects of like, okay, what did we maybe miss, or what's something that I wish I would have remembered to do earlier? Like we have a moment within our website process where we pause and we say, okay, hey, it's time to think about legal stuff now. Like it's not the sexiest thing ever, but like you need to have legal policies, you need to have a cookie policy, you need to have all of these different things on your website to make sure that it's compliant and it's legal. So we have a moment before we're done with the project where we send them a reminder to do this and get us that information, because we don't want to scramble at launch. So like that's happening even before we get to the final stage. And that's where that SOP and that process really holds us accountable to remembering like, pause. This stuff is important.
The SOP is so helpful too for efficiencies. This is where you really learn how projects can become more efficient, where you can build in efficiencies. Like if it doesn't feel efficient at all, what are the things that we can build into that process? So it really does help from an efficiency standpoint too, which also then helps you feel like you're not rushing through everything. And then practicing communicating why your process does take time. I think sometimes people are like, wow, 4 months. It's going to be 4 months until I get a beautiful brand new website. And we're like, yes, and here's why. And you take them through that process. One of the things that we do right away when we sign a client like this is we send them a full timeline. That email is a beast of an email. It's very long. It can seem overwhelming, but if you really dive into it and look at it, they have their whole timeline in front of them for that whole 4 months of what they can expect, when they're going to expect it, why they're going to expect it at that phase, when they need to be brought in, when we're doing stuff behind the scenes. It is just so it's a very long email, but I think a lot of clients really appreciate the clarity that goes into it, because they're like, oh, wow, like our meetings are booked. This is when I can expect that. This is when I can expect this. So practicing communicating that, why it takes time, and where they will be along that journey throughout that whole process.
Yeah. And then finally, if you are feeling the pressure to compete with everyone else on speed and price, this is where you just need to take a step back. So strengthen what your messaging is and what your differentiator is. You need to know that this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not just a brand designer. I am doing this for X, Y, and Z. And actually pulling in that differentiator, because like we said before, anyone can do keyword research, but like what makes you special, you know?
And this is something that we have on our investment guide too. We talk about, like in our packages, we kind of have a write-up that says, this is for you if, and then we explain, what their situation might be or whatever. Yep. And then we have a little section that says how you will feel after. And I think that section is so important that a lot of people don't think of how they're going to feel at the end of a project when you're pitching them your investment or your packages. All they think right away is kind of that like, oh, okay, I'm going to get X, Y, and Z as far as these tactical pieces go. But at the end of it, this is how you're going to feel. And that is so powerful.
Yeah. And then show your depth. So you need to be sharing your portfolio, sharing your work, sharing your results. This is the story and the social proof and the way that you build that trust with your audience. And this is how you overcome not being the cheapest. And that's good. Like you want to share everything that goes into your process, because it's more than just a list of deliverables. And then walk people through your systems and your processes. Like let's show you like a day in the life of what it's like to be a website client of ours. And let's walk you through like what happens after you sign the contract. What do you see? Sharing that stuff from a sales perspective can also help people realize that your experience is a little bit more elevated than a traditional experience.
And that we don't have, like, we're not like gatekeeping or hiding anything back here. Like, we want you to be a part of this process and to see what it looks like, because we have so much fun when we have these large projects, these large website projects. It is so much fun. The process is so smooth, so like just collaborative with the client. And I think anytime we kick off a website project at like these larger ones, I just can't wait until launch day. Obviously, it takes a while to get there, but that, like, the closer you get to launch day, the more excited everybody is, and it just feels like such a fun collaborative project. And at the end of it, you're all celebrating, and it just feels good. Everybody, feels great about it.
And the realization that you're not just ending with a website, but with a website that's actually growing with your business is huge.
Yes.
So keep in mind, like right now, I'd say if you are feeling this pressure to compete and be fast and be cheap, just stick with the program. Like,
stick with what makes you feel best within your business. And remember that you need to grow sustainably and not
think long term.
Yeah, like think long term. Don't think about next week. Don't think about next month. Think about next year. Think about 5 years from now.
Which I get can be really hard because we are on this roller coaster and things are tighter than normal.
We do this all the time too. Well, I always tell Abby we should slash our prices, which good thing there's two of us, right?
Consider us your second person right now. So if you're freaking out about slashing your prices, just think of what you're losing when you do that and being able to communicate that, because a lot of times our clients really appreciate it when we're like, you know what, we don't actually do things any differently or faster, or we're not going to take your main logo and charge you less to build onto the rest of your brand.
Right.
Because here's what happens when we do that. Like, when we do that, you lose some of the creative part of the project. Like, we're limiting our creative abilities and we're not showing you the full scope of what we're capable of.
You're asking me to not do my full job.
Yes.
And that's really hard for me to do. I can't.
And we're not, one, you can't, so you're going to still end up doing it anyways. And now you just did it at a discounted price.
Yes.
And two, like, that does them a disservice. And so it's always positioning it in a way of, if I were to cut prices or if I were to be faster, I'm going to do a disservice to you because of X, Y, and Z. And it's continuing to practice that and really understanding your worth in your business.
Yes.
So take some time away, spend some time with you, go get yourself a coffee.
Go raise those damn prices.
Yeah. And just really understand your worth, what you bring, because you have so much more value than you're likely charging for.
It's time for a refill. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Duo on Air.
If you loved hanging out with us today, here are 3 quick ways to support the show. 1, subscribe so you never miss a new episode.
2, share this episode with a biz bestie and tag us on Instagram at duo.collective.
And 3, leave a review because we love hearing from you.
Finally, keep sharing your episode ideas. We love creating content for you. Head over to duocollective.com to catch up on all the latest episodes, brand and website makeovers, SEO tips, and so much more.
See you there. Let's duo this thing called business together.